This video is brought to you today by Legal Rideshare. Whether you've abstained injuries on the job, property damage to your vehicle, wage loss, and even deactivation, Legal Rideshare is here to help. Want to create a rideshare YouTube channel and become an Uber-tuber? Don't. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. If you happen to like this video, please do me a solid and maybe even yourself a solid by hitting that subscribe button and ringing that bell for notifications of new videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but once in a while we even upload something on Tuesday and Thursday, so you'll want to be notified of that. So anyway, as someone who has been a Uber-tuber for close to 5 years now, we're getting close to the 5-year anniversary of the Apptrepreneur channel. That's pretty terrifying. I still get people who come to me and actually want to do rideshare. What's more strange is I get people who come to me who say they want advice on how to make a YouTube channel about rideshare and food delivery. Now, the first one I still give a little bit of grace to, and I just flat out tell them they're not going to make any money. They might make a bonus, but that's pretty much about it, and do this as temporary as possible just to save for a very specific thing and then get out of it. However, for the YouTube channel, I just flat out tell them it's not even worth doing. And yet, so many people ask why that I've decided, you know what, I am going to make a video where I describe the top 5 reasons that you probably do not want to start a rideshare YouTube channel. That said, even though it's not a good idea to start a YouTube channel about rideshare, it is a good idea to have legal representation if you get into an accident while you are doing rideshare, and that's where my friends at Legal Rideshare come into play. These guys specialize in defending drivers and gig economy workers like you if you find yourself in an accident or other situations. They specialize in injury, property damage, wage loss, even deactivation. However, the main thing is if you get into an accident, Legal Rideshare is here to help. If you've Googled any story on the internet or Binged or whatever, you will read story after story of how a gig economy Uber, Lyft, or Postmates driver got into an accident while on the job, and Uber, Lyft, Postmates, DoorDash, etc. did absolutely nothing to help them. However, if you look up Legal Rideshare, you will read many stories about how Legal Rideshare helped get their money back, their lost wages, and even reactivated where Uber would have just let them out to dry. So if you are a rideshare driver or gig economy worker, trust me, Legal Rideshare is what you want to keep in mind in case you ever get into an accident. With that word from our sponsor out of the way, let's get into the top 5 reasons that you do not want to start a gig economy or Uber rideshare channel, with reason number 1 being you can't say anything new. I cannot stress this enough. There is nothing more to say about Uber, Lyft, or the gig economy in general. I mean, sure, there might be a new news story, occasionally a Prop 22 will come along, but there's a reason that most Uber-tubers stopped talking about driving for Uber a long time ago and instead started focusing on headlines because, frankly, this isn't a complicated job. You get in a car, you pick someone up, you drop them off. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Also, Uber has been around for close to 10 years now, and Postmates maybe 5 or 6. In this case, all the advice that could be gleaned from this, at the time, new and exciting and sexy business has been spoken, repeated, and regurgitated ad nauseum. The world really doesn't need that many videos of you explaining how you sign up for Uber. You basically give them your email address and your driver's license picture, or what happens if you get deactivated. You call someone like Legal Rideshare, or you simply move on. And there's just nothing that you're going to add to the conversation that I or other people who came before me have not already told you. And speaking of advice, the number 2 reason to not start a rideshare channel is any advice you give will be worthless 2 days later. Now, the time frame on this definitely varies from situation to situation. Sometimes it's 2 days, sometimes it's a week. Doesn't matter. Bottom line, Uber actually hires people specifically to scour YouTube for channels like this one, and if you actually make a rideshare channel, channels like yours. And if you discover any glitch in the app, any trick where you can make more money, the best thing you can do is keep it to yourself. Because the second you share that advice, Uber, Lyft, Postmates, and DoorDash, they are going to see your video and they are going to reprogram the app so that that advice and that glitch and that little exploitation you found can no longer be used to benefit anyone. And not only will you have lost your edge, but you will have ruined it for everyone else who discovered it as well. On a side note, for this reason, you also don't want to be writing the advice down in Facebook forums because, trust me, Uber employees and app designers look through those too. That's just an extra bit of advice. The third piece of advice on why you do not want to start a rideshare channel is probably a pretty obvious one, but that is that the audience is no longer. Although YouTube should not always be approached as a job in the sense that you are going to be super successful and make a ton of money, the reality is if you want to do YouTube seriously, it's either got to be a very serious hobby or you've got to approach it like a business with long-term goals and legs and figuring out what are some financial and subscriber goals you can reach within 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And the reality is, with the Uber and Lyft topic, you are not going to be getting 1 million subscribers. You are not going to be making $10,000 a month. Uberman, who was the Uber channel for a long time, probably came the closest to us, but then he saw the writing on the wall and he rebranded his channel to Auto Auctions Rebuilds, and now he makes a lot more money fixing cars and talking about cars. Likewise, Drive Girl Drive started out as a very successful Uber tuber, still makes some Uber videos on her channel, but has since gone on to do bigger projects for YouTube, and I'm definitely very proud of her success. I know that sounds condescending, but I really am proud of her that she was able to get out of this, if you will. The bottom line is I'm not here to debate whether or not Uber drivers are going to make $10,000 a month, but you're not. I mean, you used to, but that was because you had a Uber YouTube channel and you had referral codes, and really that's the only way that you can still make a lot of money doing this. And there's really only one channel that continues to do it, and I don't want to say who that is because the person's a friend, but basically his, rideshare Uber channel is not even about rideshare or Uber really, and that's the main reason it's successful. But if it's strictly about rideshare and advice and driving, you're not going to make a lot of money doing this. And if you want to do it for fun, I guess that's one thing, but if you really want to approach YouTube as a business, as something that maybe one day you would like to do for a living, then frankly, you'll make a lot more headway in that direction if you talk about anime or baseball trading on eBay. And the final reason you do not want to start a rideshare YouTube channel is, frankly, it's not much fun to talk about this stuff. Now, I have been accused of being a Debbie Downer, a negative Nancy, a whiny, moany little fat kid, whatever. And I'm not going to dispute that too much, if only because as someone who reports the news on rideshare, there's frankly not a lot of positive things to say. Therefore, I come off as a little whiny and moany. Now, interestingly, if you become a YouTube member or a Patreon member, you've been getting vlogs from me with me and my wife where you are seeing a much more playful and happy side to me. And I'm not just saying that just so that you'll be curious and hopefully become a member to check that content out. No, I'm saying that because when you get me away from rideshare, I actually tend to be a lot more positive and, fun in real life. But the topic of rideshare is just one that is dismal and it doesn't make you very happy. Whether it's how 4 years ago we used to make almost $3 a mile when we drove for Uber and Lyft, and now it's 30 cents a mile, or we used to have a surge multiplier, now we have an upfront surge that pays $10 at the most in most cases, or whether, drivers voted against themselves in their fight for employee rights or being treated fairly. It's just not a fun topic to be in, and you will find yourself getting more and more depressed the more and more you talk about it. And while rage clickbait does work for the algorithm and it does work for numbers, there is that saying that life is too short to be perpetually unhappy. And as a result, I don't want you to enter this because you will probably not be happy talking about Uber and rideshare and what you do. It speaks volumes, and again, I'm not going to say names because, again, it's a friend, but the most successful rideshare channel out there is a channel that is almost single-handedly dedicated to drivers getting the crap beat out of them by their unruly passengers. And that should be a clue into what level of fun you're looking at if you decide to make a rideshare YouTube channel. Now, again, you can throw all of this away if, hey, this topic interests you that much, if you feel that you will not be bitter, if you're not worried about this being a success, if this is just a hobby you want to do, then you know what? Spend your time however you want to spend your time. But my advice is if you want to talk about a subject where you have new things you can contribute, if you want a channel where your advice might actually be relevant 3 years down the line or 3 days down the line, or if you don't care about the audience numbers, if you don't care about the money, and if you think that you can still have fun talking about it, then you know what? By all means, make a rideshare YouTube channel. The world's certainly big enough for everyone. I just don't think it's a very good use of your time, which is why you've been seeing this channel shift priorities in the last week and a half or so. But that said, I would like to know what you think about this. Do you agree with these reasons? Are there any reasons I missed? Or maybe you can think of reasons why people should make a rideshare YouTube channel. Maybe that would be an interesting companion piece, although I doubt I would make it because I don't personally believe in it. But if you have reasons, I'd like to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.